pull out about a 10-pound bass.
I've seen you pull out 10-pound catfish in
Yeah, I know.
The Griffy Lake Nature Preserve on Bloomington's north side is the perfect place to escape with a fishing pole. But the area that is a peaceful, natural retreat for many is a work in progress for its keepers. Invasive plants, pollution, and erosion at Griffy Reservoir keep the city of Bloomington busy. Bloomington updated its master plan for the nature preserve in 2008. 2 years later, the lake is doing better. But take a look into the murky water and you can tell there is more work to be done.
We've been working on controlling the invasive aquatic plants, continuing that effort. We've taken some of the recommendations around the boathouse and improved the accessible parking area. And as part of that, we've added a couple rain gardens to catch the runoff before it goes into the lake to try and improve the water quality down there.
Steve Cotter is the Natural Resources Manager for Bloomington's Parks and Recreation Department. He says a big problem for Griffy Lake is the eroding shoreline. Whenever it rains, more of the shore washes into the lake, causing the lake to shrink. Following recommendations in the 2008 plan, the city is bringing in rocks, logs, and vegetation to reinforce the shoreline. Bill Jones led the creation of the first Griffy Lake Management Plan in the early 80s.
When it came to doing the updated master plan, it's actually kind of surprising that the original master plan in '83 was still being implemented 20 years after it was done. That doesn't mean it was a great plan or that the city was particularly slow. It just meant that these things take time. And the city has been, I think, doing things right that way by not rushing in, looking at the long term.
A lot has changed since 1983, says Jones, especially the land surrounding the lake. New housing and apartment complexes have pushed more runoff and extra sediment into the lake. Also, more lawns are being over-fertilized, says Jones, which leads to increased plant growth in the lake. Many more people visit the nature preserve than did 25 years ago. Cotter notes that Griffy Lake is contaminated with mercury, and the state advises consumers to eat no more than one large fish a month from the lake. But mercury pollution is not unique to this watershed.
One of the main reasons that swimming isn't allowed here is because of the erosion on the shoreline. But there also are contaminants in the water. Unfortunately, that's true of virtually every stream and lake in Indiana. A lot of it is mercury contamination, which occurs as a result of our burning coal for electricity.
Cotter hopes someday Griffy will be clean enough for swimming. But Jones cautions that lakes aren't meant to look like chlorinated swimming pools. He says too many people have unrealistic expectations for lakes.
Their concept of a great lake is perfectly clear water, no rooted plants growing anywhere, and lots of fish. Well, you can't have that. Fish need plants and nutrients to grow, and you can't have bathtub conditions and great fish, and it's just not going to work. It's an ecosystem, and things grow and things die, and when you get too much growth, then you get problems. And Griffy is kind of at that point. Too much growth or too much growth of the wrong species of plants that have gotten out of whack.
Both Jones and Cotter hope people enjoy the natural wonders at Griffy, but also take common sense steps to keep it viable in the future. They ask that people don't over-fertilize their yards and don't dump their aquariums into the lake.
We feel very strongly that if people get out and enjoy what the natural world has to offer here, that they'll be stronger advocates for protecting it, and we think that's a very important thing.
For the Weekly Special, I'm Jessica Gall.